They called him a joke. At his cousin's wedding in front of everyone he loved, they pointed at his worn-out shoes, his faded shirt, and they laughed. His own uncle leaned over to someone and whispered, loud enough for him to hear, "That boy will never amount to anything." And the worst part? In that moment, Marcus believed them. But here's what nobody at that wedding could have predicted. 18 months later, Marcus wouldn't just prove them wrong. He would build something so big, so real, that the very people who laughed at him would be sending him messages asking for help. This is not a fairy tale. This is a story about what happens when a man with nothing decides that nothing is exactly what he has to lose. Stay with me, because somewhere in this story, there's a message meant specifically for you. Marcus grew up in a small apartment in a city that never slept but rarely rewarded people like him. He was the son of a single mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. She never complained. She never made him feel poor. But Marcus could feel it. In the way she skipped dinner some nights. In the way she smiled too hard when things were falling apart. He watched her sacrifice everything. And he promised himself, quietly, that one day he would change that. He wasn't lazy. Let's get that straight right now. Marcus worked. He worked at a grocery store through high school. He took night classes at a community college. He applied for job after job after job. He did everything they told him to do. Study hard, work hard, follow the rules. And still, by the time he was 26 years old, he had nothing to show for it. No savings. A small room he rented from a neighbor. A phone with a cracked screen. And a growing feeling, deep in his chest, that maybe the rules he had been following were written for someone else. That wedding happened in October, and it broke something inside him. After that night, Marcus tried to shake it off. He told himself it didn't matter, that people's opinions were just noise, but the noise got louder. He got passed over for a promotion at work, a position he had been preparing for all year. His manager gave it to someone with less experience, someone who had a connection, someone who simply knew the right people. Marcus sat in his car that evening and didn't move for 40 minutes. Then came the call that really broke him. His mother had been having trouble with her knee for months. Nothing serious, she said. She always said that. But Marcus found out, not from her but from his aunt, that she had quietly stopped going to her doctor's appointments. She couldn't afford the copay. His mother was skipping medical care to save money, and she hadn't told him because she didn't want him to worry. That hit Marcus like a wall. He stared at his bank account that night. $412. That's what he had. That was the total of everything he had worked for years. He felt something shift inside him. Not sadness, not self-pity, anger. But not the kind of anger that destroys a person, the kind that builds one. He opened his laptop. It was 11:47 p.m., and he typed 3 words into the search bar that would change his life forever. How to start? He didn't find one perfect answer that night. He found 100 different paths. Dropshipping, freelancing, stocks, real estate, crypto, digital products, content creation. Most of it felt overwhelming. Some of it felt like scams. But one thing kept appearing over and over again in different forms. A simple concept that kept showing up no matter what he searched. Find a problem, solve it, get paid. That was it. That was the whole secret. Not some complicated formula, not a magic investment. Just this. People pay money to solve problems. Always have. Always will. Marcus put down his phone and looked around his small room. He thought about his own life, the struggles he knew firsthand, the things he had figured out the hard way. And then it hit him. He had spent years learning how to live well on almost nothing, how to stretch money, how to cut costs without sacrificing everything, how to navigate job applications, budgeting, grocery shopping on a tight income, avoiding debt traps. He had figured all of this out because he had no choice. But millions of other people were struggling with those exact same things right now. Tonight, panicking, searching for answers. And Marcus knew the answers. That was the moment. That quiet, simple, almost boring moment where he realized His struggle was actually his product. He started small, embarrassingly small if he's being honest. He created a free blog. He wrote his first article about how he fed himself for $22 a week without eating terribly. He posted it. Nobody read it. He wrote another one. 5 people read it. He kept going. He started a simple YouTube channel. No fancy camera, just his phone leaned against a stack of books. He talked directly to people who were broke and stressed and trying to figure it out. No filter, no performance, just honesty. 3 weeks in, a video got shared in a Facebook group for single mothers. Overnight, it went from 60 views to 4,000. He wasn't ready for what came next. The comments started flooding in, people thanking him, people sharing their own stories, people asking more questions. Marcus realized something important in that moment. He wasn't just making content, he was building trust. And trust online is worth more than any degree, any connection, any lucky break. He started a simple email newsletter, then a small digital guide, a PDF he spent 2 weekends writing, called Broke But Smart: How to Survive and Build When You Have Nothing. He sold it for $9. The first week he sold 11 copies, $99. His hands were literally shaking. It wasn't life-changing money, not yet. But it was proof. Proof that someone, somewhere, valued what was inside his head. He reinvested every single dollar. Better equipment, a simple website, a small amount of paid promotion. But then, just when things were building, something unexpected happened. His job found out he was running a side business. His manager called him in. There was a conversation about conflicts of interest and company policy. And just like that, Marcus lost his job. Most people would have stopped right there. Marcus worked twice as hard. With no job and no safety net, Marcus had 2 choices. Go back and look for another position, or go all in on the thing that was just starting to work. He chose the thing that was working. He expanded his digital products. He created an online course teaching basic financial skills to young adults: budgeting, building credit, understanding money. Everything he wished someone had taught him at 18. He priced it at $47. He used everything he had learned about his audience. He knew their fears. He knew their exact questions because he had lived those questions. The course launched on a Tuesday morning. By Thursday, he had made over $3,000. He sat in the same small room, same cracked screen phone. He stared at the number on his screen. $3,000 in 2 days, from something he built himself, from knowledge he already had. He cried. He's not ashamed of that. Over the next 6 months, Marcus scaled. He grew his email list. He partnered with other small creators. He launched a second course. He started consulting for small businesses who needed help communicating with budget-conscious customers. At the 12-month mark from that lonely night at his laptop, Marcus had generated over $90,000 in revenue. $90,000. From his phone, from his laptop, from the knowledge that came from being broke. His mother went back to her doctor. He paid for it. He paid for all of it. She cried. He cried again. And this time it felt different. And that cousin's wedding, that uncle who whispered those words, Marcus got a message 6 months later. It was from that same uncle, asking if Marcus could give his son some advice about starting an online business. Marcus replied with grace. He helped, because that's who he had become. Now here's the part that matters for you. Because Marcus's story isn't really about him. It's about a set of decisions that anyone with internet access and a willingness to be honest, can make. Lesson 1. Your pain is your product. The struggles you've lived through, the problems you've solved for yourself, the hard lessons you've learned, those are valuable. Stop thinking your experience isn't enough. Someone out there needs exactly what you know. Lesson 2. Start before you're ready. Marcus didn't wait for a perfect setup, perfect equipment, or perfect confidence. He started with a cracked phone and a free blog. The tools matter far less than the decision to begin. Every day you wait is a day someone else is out there building the thing you keep thinking about. Lesson 3. Trust is the real currency online. Marcus didn't go viral by being loud or flashy. He built something real because he was honest. He talked to people like a human being. In a world full of noise, authenticity is the rarest and most powerful thing you can offer. Lesson 4. Lose the job before the job limits you. Not recklessly, Marcus didn't choose to lose his job, but when it happened, he used it. The moment he was forced to bet on himself fully was the moment things accelerated. You don't have to wait to be fired, but stop treating your current situation as permanent. It isn't. The people who mocked Marcus didn't lose because they were bad people. They lost because they had already decided what was possible. They had built a ceiling in their minds, and they assumed everyone else was living under the same ceiling. Marcus just refused to believe the ceiling was real. That's it. That's the whole secret. So let me ask you something. Think about your own life right now. Think about the thing you've been through, the struggle, the rejection, the moment someone underestimated you. What if that experience, that exact painful chapter, was actually the foundation of something bigger? What would you build if you decided tonight that your story wasn't over? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. And if someone you know is going through a hard time right now and needs to hear a story like this, share this video with them. You might not know how much it matters. If this story moved you, subscribe. Every week we bring you stories like Marcus's, real, raw, and built to remind you that where you start is not where you have to finish. The ceiling isn't real. Go prove it.